Not a night to be around people. Anyone who slept well last night is not all there. Biden has pushed us to the brink of World War III, whether it be, Israel and Iran now, or the 2 years of sustained war without any talk of peace between Russia and Ukraine. This is the country we're living in, a madhouse. Everyone I know is upset. Everyone I know who has a high IQ is not doing well. So as I say, cooking well is the best revenge. Eating well is a better revenge, especially if you want to eat well and kind of take care of your health. So I've done some luckily I bought some frozen shrimp the other day from Gulf Shrimp. I got to get the last remnants of the cooked garlic out of here because it'll destroy everything. Would you believe it? One piece of bad garlic can destroy an entire dish, as you well know. You don't realize what chefs have to do in a restaurant. Anyone home? Well, thanks for joining me for dinner because I'm going to have one of my basic happy meals, a Michael Savage Happy Meal. Let me get the water going for the frozen vegetables. You'll see it's a quick meal for me, even though nothing's really quick for me. Everything's got to be done slowly. The main thing are the ingredients. So, since the main ingredient is right here, these gorgeous Gulf shrimp, which I defrosted directly from the package under cold running water for 3 minutes. They're ready to cook, believe it or not. My problem right now is I have to slice the lemon while putting the phone down. So I can do that. I have a stand and all of that. I didn't prepare this, thinking I was going to do this, but that's what happens. Is I wanted to be with my friends tonight. So what I'm going to do is set this up here, and it'll probably fall while we're talking as I set it next to my dates and nuts. It's not a professional cooking show by any means, nor is it done for any reason other than to be with my friends. Okay, good. So I'll be here. I'm going to slice up a lemon, which I just picked from my tree in the backyard. One of the things I love about California is the ingredients that I have here. Now, some people don't like to add lemon to shrimp. They say it destroys the flavor. I'm not 100% sure on that one way or the other. I think it takes some of the gaminess out of the shrimp while adding some tremendous nutritional value. They are really ready to go. But the way I cook everything is I drown it all in red sauce anyway. As I drown myself in wine to forget the psychopathic communist bastards running this country, I will now go to my pasta choice, and I have two choices tonight. I have my Italian Rumo, which I actually prefer, or I have the Di Cecco, which is also beautiful. I'll go by which one takes less time. Al dente 7 minutes, I cook it al softo, figure 10 minutes. No matter what they say, I add 3 minutes. This says 9 minutes, so I'm gonna go with the short version. The water's boiling. What I'm doing here is I'm preparing some potatoes in there, some little organic red potatoes, because I like to cook them with pasta. It's a peasant dish. I did it for you a year ago. Potato and pasta. You say, oh, 2 carbohydrates. I didn't read that in a book. How good can it be? Mike, you don't know what you're doing. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Do it your way. Peasant cookery is the best cookery on the planet, because they've sustained themselves by knowing what they're doing. See, there we go already. The water's ready to go. Now I'm in a rush. I hate rushing. I'll tell you the one thing I hate more than anything. There. My frozen organic vegetables are in. Yes, I'm very happy to tell you I choose organically grown everything if I can get it, even frozen food. It makes a difference. I can do without pesticides and other chemicals if you don't mind. You want to risk it? Go ahead. I'll tell you something about onions. The simple onion you should know about. I've already pre-cooked some onions. I don't even know where I put them. But my shrimp are ready to actually throw into the pan again. One vagrant piece of burnt garlic in there could destroy the whole meal. See that? Okay, so I added some lemon. That's all I'm going to put on this. I may put a little extra virgin olive oil on it before I cook it. The oil in there, of course, is hot as hell. And these guys are going to start cooking immediately. I'll get the camera in action again in a moment. But I pre-cooked some organically grown onions. The important thing about onions and why they have to be organically grown, I learned this 40 years ago when I was writing children's books on health. I'm an onion lover. If an onion is sprouting, it's a good onion. If a potato is sprouting, it's a good potato. It means they haven't been sprayed with maleic hydrazide, which is carcinogenic. So I'm going to put my shrimp in. The nicest sound on earth. It wipes away the entire Biden administration. I guarantee you not one of those Strunzola can cook a shrimp. They probably eat white bread sandwiches with peanut butter and jelly on it. You think they know food? All they know is war, hatred, robbing the public. You know what this is? Just picked it from my garden. I love oregano. Here's some oregano. Do I have to list the health benefits? Okay, I will. In a minute. I have to tell you that shrimp are very healthful. I know they're not kosher for my Jewish friends. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not a religious guy. But the thing is, I've been living on prawns and shrimp most of my life. I mean, in the old days, maybe in the biblical days, it made sense not to eat shrimp because the waters were contaminated, like they are today in China, Indonesia, India, Pakistan. I try never to get any fish or seafood from Asia. I won't eat it. I won't touch it. I try to find my sources. Sorry, I'm a little off the camera angle. I can turn it a little bit more. There we go. I'm leaning against my nuts. Not mine. The nuts on the counter. I need a glass of wine. It's been a long day's journey in tonight, I gotta tell you. So I got the prawns cooking. I'm a choice right now. Now I'll put my sauce in now. The pan is hot as hell. I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I'm going to add a little more oil, I'll tell you that. Then I'm going to add some white wine. Drinking a different white wine these days. I got tired of my Rieslings, so I switched to a very high-end California white that I like. It's a Sauvignon Blanc or Fumé Blanc. I usually don't show labels. I don't really care whether they get free publicity or not. I mean, my audience is not that large, so it doesn't matter. They could have free publicity. What do I care? You think I'm out handling a buck? I'm not on Fox News. So, past handling for the dollars. I'm not selling floor mats. I'm not selling Michael aprons. Could sell you a nice Savage Nation apron. I don't have one. You want a Savage Nation hat? I don't have one. I don't need it. You add up the money. I don't know what people do this for. Everyone's desperate for the last dollar, okay? A lot of work. So these guys are cooking nicely. Not nice, nicely. Gotta watch my diction. Because I know that my diction teacher in heaven, my English teacher from Jamaica High School, is listening to me. You can't say cooking these nice. You gotta say cooking them nicely. Like the character in Damon Runyon, nicely, nicely. Remember him? So I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna try to avoid politics. I didn't sleep last night. I tossed and turned all night. I mean, with the launch of rockets, you know, who the hell could sleep? If you know anyone had a good night's sleep, they're brain dead. Then you got the Palestinian Nazis here in the country. I'm sick and tired of hearing about it already. Don't give me that about Gaza. Gaza. That's what I say. And the students say kill the Jews from the river to the sea. Throw them out of the country, all of them. That is not free speech. If I got up there in front of a group of black people at a church and said, the FBI would throw me in prison. Throw those out of my country with her mother, Representative Omar, Ilhan Omar, that piece of She came here as a refugee, and all she's done is poison the nation. That rat. This is what we get with our refugees, garbage. We had real men in this country. She would have been deported before she became a congresswoman. Now we're stuck with her, with those friggin' hags of hers in this squad. Okay, I'm gonna put in some wine. Nicest sound on earth. I don't want to get excited, you know, I have a heart condition, I don't need this. I think my potatoes are done. First I cook them in a pan, and then I put them in the microwave to break them down a little more, and I was going to mix them with the onions, which I'm going to do. They're a great dish. I'm not going to actually make them with the shrimp. I'm going to use it as a side dish. I'm not on the camera, I'm sorry. There we go. Hi. You don't like what you hear? Don't listen. Go away. Go riot somewhere, see if I care. You hear the students at Columbia, 60,000 a year to put up with Palestinian idiots. What are they doing there? That's what they went to school for? Is to say kill the Jews? They could have stayed where they came from and said the same thing. And woke up to a missile in their tuchus. Well, I haven't used enough garlic yet. Again, health food, Russian penicillin. Before I put any sauce on it, a little organic crushed red pepper. I want a little spice tonight. The oregano went in. Tarragon doesn't work with shrimp. This is easy to cook. It's basically pasta's cooking. I'm going to throw the sauce in before the shrimp start to, you know, overcook. Simple dinner. I need a drink. Hold on a minute. I gotta get my sauce in though, or those things will overcook. Canned sauce, bottled sauce. I've used it for years. I don't even have to show you the label, you already know what it is. That is a beautiful sight, by the way. Sight for me anyway. I love to make noise in the kitchen. I remember when Teddy was alive, he'd get alarmed by it. But he would know that good food was coming. He had Dad clattering the dishes. Almost. I love that mixture. And this is the potato and onion dish. I made a little bit of it. I only want the onions. The pasta's cooking. This is going to overcook. Lower the heat on that. As soon as the pasta's cooked, I'm putting it into the dish with the prawn, shrimp, and the sauce, and the onions, and the garlic, whatever else I put in there. Shrimp, rich in DHA, EPA, omega-3 fatty acids. Most of you have heard about them, but you know, you should understand how remarkable they are for the human body. And I generally have eschewed meat. I grew up on a high-fat, high-meat diet. I don't know how, I once wrote a joke about it, that the savage childhood diet should have killed me by age 9. I had meat for breakfast, meat for lunch, and meat for dinner. I don't know. A meat sandwich, a steak at dinner, my father would call and turn white. He worked all day in the store, came home, slept from Manhattan. I need a drink, sorry. I gotta lower the heat. Lower the heat. Pasta's gonna go in a minute. You know, one of the reasons you like my cooking shows because it's family. You don't have family, most of us don't. So I could be your father, grandfather, uncle. Been a big week for me. Big, small, horrible week. I may put one ice cube in. I don't really care what the books say about it. I like ice in white wine. You don't like it? Report me to Joe Biden, to the ice police. Oh, thank God. Baruch Hashtod. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam v'rei b'riat gafen. Blessed art thou. Sometimes I say it to myself in English. Blessed art thou, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has given us the grape so that we can make the wine. I remember where this comes from. Just as I know I pick my lemons in the garden, I go and cut it off my own tree. Keeps me in touch with the earth. I'll feel better in a few minutes, as soon as my alcohol hits my... What is wrong with those kids at Columbia? Who the hell do they think they are? Half of them are stupid college girls who are drugged since they're children. Morons. Morons. They are on an Arab spring break. Get it? That's what they're on, an Arab spring break. This is the cause today. Let's see, it was global warming, then it was global heating, then it was global this, then it was trans rights, now it's Gaza. These hysterical, sex-starved girls don't even know what they're talking about. They ought to go out and have a date. A little sex would be good for them. And then they wouldn't be burning buildings down and smashing windows in synagogues and screaming, kill their mother. Good percentage of them are Jews, by the way. Oh, yeah. Well, they're not all Palestinians. Many of them are red diaper doper baby Jewish children, raised on drugs and halavar. Don't like the potatoes, and I'm not even going to eat them. But I'm good. I always cook something extra because I'm not going to wind up eating all of it anyway. Throw a few of the vegetables in there. There's a little depth to it. I cook. Let's see how my pasta's doing, because I can't wait to put it in the sauce. Shut that off. See my pasta? That's a beautiful sight. His hairy forearm. Remember that one? My great poem from 25 years ago, when pasta was spaghetti. A lot of you don't know who I am. It's okay, you don't have to know who I am. Just enjoy the cooking show, Cooking with Michael Savage. I wish I could find that poem, When Pasta Was Spaghetti. It's a masterpiece. I think it's in the Bancroft Library with all my other writings, if I could find. I know the original exactly where it is. I wrote it on an airplane. You see, we were flying. It was a commercial jet. We were over Denver, 33,000 feet, and the plane hit really bad turbulence. Really crazy turbulence. So the woman next to me, I remember to this day where I upgraded her first class. There's no such thing as first class commercial at all. You're still amongst, you don't know who could sit next to you the next second first class. But let's say the seats were bigger. So next to me was a high-end Chinese lady. You know, you could tell the difference between people. Well-dressed, facial features were great. And I said hello when we sat down. She didn't want to talk, you know. I didn't want to be the schmuck in the seat next to her trying to talk to a woman. She didn't want to talk. I said, okay, didn't say a word. So I'm drinking. I ordered a lot of wine on the plane at the time. Was it wine? I wouldn't drink that wine on the plane. Probably vodkas one after the other. And I'm writing in my journal. The plane hits the turbulence. And the plane starts going like this. At that point, I probably had a bottle of wine already on the plane. I don't know how much. I didn't feel it. I didn't care. It was like a fun thing for me. So the woman got so scared, she grabbed my arm in the seat like that, you know, and it was like, okay, hold on. Plane didn't crash. And it's a little dried out already because, you know why? Because it's cooking too long in here. I got to add a little moisture. I wish my pasta was done. I'll finish the story in a minute. Really, the food is king here. You say, see, everyone likes al dente. I don't eat it. I'll ask you one question in case you think I'm wrong. Have you ever seen in your entire life a Chinese person eating al dente rice? No. They eat soft rice because you can't digest al dente rice. The same principle applies to wheat. How the hell can you digest spaghetti that's hard? You can't. That's perfect to add to my sauce. Excuse me. We're talking while cooking and eating on video typing. Okay. See all the water on it? There. It's in there. Put a little more in. I don't put enough sauce in these things. It's not that I'm cheap and want to save on the bottle. I don't. Maybe there's a little of the kid in me from Queens who always wants to save a little for another time. I don't know. It could be. I find myself preserving food while I'm cooking for the next time. It's crazy. Just buy another bottle of it. Okay, whatever. So we have it in there. It's simple. You got the prawns in there, all my spices. There's a whole head of garlic chopped up and cooked. And I'm going to see if this is going to be red enough for me. I don't like it overly drenched. I like on the dry side, which is a little elegant for some people. They understand it. There's an Italian cuisine style that's very light sauce. Then there's the bury it in sauce type. I mean, whatever you prefer. I mean, I don't care what people do. I'm not telling you what to do. This will be good for 2 days. I'll have it tonight with the vegetables. Shut off that water in the back. There we go. And so as I was saying, I was on the plane, grabbed the arm, and that's where I wrote on that plane. It had to be in the, it's pre-radio. Radio was started in '94. I was a corporate consultant schlepping around the country. And had to be in the 80s. 80s. I could find it in one of my journals, but I don't have them anymore. They're all in the Bancroft Library with all my other manuscripts and writings. I'm looking to hire a PhD student to go into my writings in the library and do some archive work for me. I need a real literary scholar because I want a majorly piece of work on. I don't want to go into it right now when I want done. You talk about a man who wrote 30 books, and many books unpublished, manuscripts. So I was an inveterate, non-stop journal keeper since I'm young. And they're all the journals and all of my, not only my journals, but I was also a crazy daily planner guy, like weekly planner by the year. I have all those books going back to the 70s, if you can believe it. They're all in my collection at the library. I don't think I want an autobiography. I think there's no point to it. No one's interested in the next man's life. Those days are over. Who's going to read a biography today? Nobody. Nobody. All right, so I'm going to put a little more sauce in. It's a little unread for me. So always keeping some in the bottle in case the Huns come over the mountain tomorrow and I have no sauce. It's crazy. I have more bottles in the back, but again, I have to reserve some. The whole bottle should have gone in, to be honest. Okay, here we go. Back with you in a minute. You'll see this is done on the fly, as they say. There we go. Okay. Okay. I hate cooking shows where the person tastes their food and says, "Oh, delicious." What do you expect them to say? It's no good? Notice I didn't add any salt to this. You people don't understand this. The cooking shows on television are killing you. Yes, we need some salt, but there's enough salt in our foods without adding salt. That's why we have hypertension. I've told you this 1,000 times. That's why we have, I told you this in the 70s. It was discovered, if you're an African American, soul food was the primary driver of hypertension amongst African Americans. Soul food. What's soul food? Overly fatty, overly sugary, and overly salty food from the South. Poison. It's not soul food, it's death food. You don't want to believe me? I don't care. Salt, fat, sugar. The three principal ingredients of most restaurant food that are used to mask fundamentally poisonous ingredients. Junk ingredients. Old seafood, bad meat, chicken that's half dead. So how hard is it to put cream on it and butter and salt and a pepper and then go, oh, it tastes great. You're not eating the food. You're eating the spices that cover up the bad food. So as I was saying, That's when I wrote When Pasta Was Spaghetti. Since I don't have the poem, I'm not going to try and remember it. I got to talk to that woman, and I'm going to knock off the talk, after the incident of her grabbing the arm job on the plane. We struck up a conversation. She turned out to be the CEO of a major American corporation. And she asked me what I did. I said, well, I'm this and that. I'm a herbal medicine expert. She said, well, my grandmother in China was a very famous herbalist, and we talked about herbal medicine. It was fascinating, you know, when you reach out to people, what is in their lives, it's amazing to me. Delicious. We never kept in touch. I wasn't looking to pick anyone up on an airplane. I was looking to meet a human being next to me and talk to the person, that's all. Not everything has to be a pickup. People are so sick. I mean, everything has to be sexual. See what they're teaching in the schools? I couldn't believe my eyes. It's worse. These trans activists are the death of America. In my time, if a person came into the first grade and tried to do that with my kid in school, they would have been thrown into prison for 20 years for peddling child pornography. Now, Biden has them in the White House. Everyone should salute a trans person. They're sick in the head. And he encourages them? Why? Does he even know what he's talking about? Does the guy know anything? It's Jill. She's Mrs. Madam President. 2 months ago, I did a great podcast saying, is Jill Biden Mrs. President? And there was a precedent for it, as you well know, in American history, of a president who fell ill, and the wife took over the duties. She signed bills for him and everything else. Same thing. It's an embarrassment. Can't they give this creep a break? There must be a nice upscale home in Delaware. The blanket, the ice cream, a little TV. What does he need his pressure for? We're a laughing stock on the world stage. Anthony Blinken, I love him. I never saw anything like these people. You see the corpse with Anthony Blinken? The one who looks like Laurel and Hardy, the frightened rabbit in the State Department? Where'd they get him from? He looks like he's got terrified every second. Looks like he's going to take a dump. Looks like he has to wear like a diaper. Every time he speaks, Jake Sullivan, I don't even know who he is. They're all Obama people. Holdovers from Michelle. The only thing that'll save us from the Obama's wrath is that they're very wealthy now. They cashed in on their presidency. They're making a fortune. Michael, we're bigger than U.S. Steel. With the deals they have and the houses they have, are you kidding? They don't want a revolution. What do they need a revolution for? They made a lot of money. Every Netflix show has someone that looks like either Barack Obama or Michelle Obama in it. I've turned to like Turkish movies to get away from them. Turkish, Spanish, anything. They got to be like 5 years ago on Netflix before they took over. Okay, I'm done. Everything is sono buono. As my Italian friends would say, capisce? Take all the kids from Columbia University and their professors and their ACLU lawyers, Marvin, and the National Lawyers Guild, and put them all into Rikers Island for 1 week. And let them all sort it out with the prisoners in Rikers Island. Let's see what the prisoners have to say to them about doing what they're doing at Columbia. Imagine spending $70,000 to send your kid to that hole, Columbia. Oh, God. How did this country get taken over? Well, it's a long story. I'd be remiss if I didn't say to you, read A Savage Republic, my great book. It's inside the plot to destroy America. It's all in there. Oh, yeah, the names are named. And here we are. How close are we to a complete and total takeover and collapse? I'll leave you with a dream I had the other night. It was frightening. I was on Donald Trump Jr.'s show on Rumble yesterday. I loved it. 1 hour. He spoke for 20 some odd minutes, and then he and I, got it. I was interviewed. We'll have it on my podcast next week, the Savage Nation podcast. He was really nice to me. I truthfully didn't know what it would be. I was hesitant to go on because, I've said things about the Trump management team, but they all hear. He was so respectful. I got to say thank you, Don Jr. You did a great job. I can't wait to see you at Mar-a-Lago. I'm not going to be there, though, but whatever. He was so nice to me, so respectful. I was shocked, actually. I didn't know that they... that whole group knows I created Borders Language Culture, and they're respectful as a result. They know it. Remember when Rudy Giuliani, I met him for the first time in April a year ago at Mar-a-Lago, and he said to me, Michael, he said, when we first heard you in New York, we thought you were all nuts. We all thought you were nuts. As time went on, we realized you were a prophet. Something to that effect. I'm not a prophet. I'm just a man who can reason. If that makes me a prophet, I salute. That's all. It's a beautiful life. We live in the greatest country on earth, hijacked by the most vicious, disgusting, degenerate criminals in the history of this nation. And how they get away with it is simple. They own the networks. They own Wolf Blitzer, that double-talking pimp who's from Israel. That Charles Schumer, the type of Jew the Bible wrote about is Charles Schumer, and that fat slob from New York, that weakling who belonged in Ripley's Believe It or Not. What's his name? That weird-looking fat who lost weight. I don't remember his name. That weirdo congressman. Nadler. Nadler was the type that worked in an ice cream parlor and stole too much of the food and died of a heart attack at 32 from over-creaming himself. Nadler, a congressman. Could you imagine the country we're living in? Nadler's a congressman? Imagine Schumer. That guy could not run a brassiere store in Queens in my day. If his mother had it, yes. If Schumer's mother had, let's say, had two brassiere stores on Union Turnpike, near where I grew up in Donald Trump. Let's say there was two brassiere stores, one there and one in Forest Hills. And the kid was a moron like him. She sent him to law school first, and then realized he's a putz. And then she'd say, look, manage the brassiere stores. You'll do better than in Congress, and you'll be more honest. That's all. The Sanhedrin. Shall I tell you about the Sanhedrin? Maybe I'll eat out of the pan and not even eat tonight. I don't want to sit down. You know what the Sanhedrin is? The Sanhedrin were in Jesus' day a ruling body of rabbis. They're all lawyers. 32 of them, who knows the number? They judged everything. Just like today, the lawyers. I love food. I gotta tell you, I love food. Eating prawns is the best revenge. Mark that down. Look at that. White meat, full of DHA, EPA. I mean, these are good. They're Gulf shrimp. They're not from the polluted waters of Asia. You go to a Chinese restaurant, you're taking your life in your hands. I ate one today. I like the guy. Since I grew up in the streets of the Bronx and Queens and Manhattan, I have an immunity to the poison somewhat. Delicious. You can only watch so much, When we get older, happens to you, you gotta be very careful. Hold it a minute. I'm just getting warmed up. Oh, Mike, you grew a ponytail? Yes, I grew a ponytail. It's your business? Why does that bother people that I have a ponytail? Why does that bother people? Will it change me? My hair. I like it. Next week I'll decide I don't like it. It's good. I'm not even hungry anymore. I ate enough out of the pots. I had enough talking with you. I got 300 people watching, who knows? It's always depressing, like when you turn off YouTube, you go and look, like 1,200 people watch you. Then it builds up to 4,000, 6,000, 8,000. I don't have a platform. You're my platform, but you know, you're my friends, like you are my electronic family. It's a Friday night, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. If anyone's watching me, it means you have nothing going on in your life. You're not having sex, you have no family, no religion, nothing. So it's okay. That's why I'm glad you're here. It's eyeless in Gaza, sexless in America. It's so good. You know you wish you were here. You know what this is? It's a clump of garlic. I cooked it. I don't want to eat too much of it. It'll burn my gut out. Real great stuff. You know that there are sulfur compounds, excuse me, there are sulfur compounds in garlic that have not yet been isolated by chemists. That's how complex garlic is. The Russians call it Russian penicillin, but don't tell Joe Biden he's liable to have all the garlic fields burned to the ground. Don't tell Jake Sullivan that garlic is known as Russian penicillin. He's liable to ban garlic in America like gas stoves. That's how sick these people are. You know that they're mentally ill? Dangerously mentally ill. Oh yeah, you let them out of a hospital, then they run the country? Are you kidding? You'd think if they had children, grandchildren, they'd say, wait, we can't keep bringing in tens of millions of vermin from the third world. Leeches, bums, mental hospitals, prisoners, rapists, murderers, thieves. Why do you think Venezuela's dumping them on us? Because they don't want them. They dump the that they don't want in their nation. They're flushing their toilet into America. So they come here, the most violent, the most mentally defective of all, and they attack our police, and Biden says not one word. To him, the only domestic terrorist is a white man who goes to church. Sick. That's what I say. I mean, you could call this food cast. I'll call it a food cast. It's delicious. I love talking with you. You mind? Am I entitled? Hold on. This is the number one ingredient in a restaurant that's always missing. A napkin. I go into a fine restaurant where they have like cloth napkins. I hate them. Can you bring me some paper napkins, please? I don't like. What do you think I'm, Jake Sullivan? I'm gonna pat myself with a linen napkin? I eat. I need paper. If you're enjoying this, you should be enjoying it because it's very rare that a man like me exists at all. Not only should a man like me live to 1,000 years, but I won't. Every night, I thank God for my living. I wake up in the still small hours of the morning and I say, God, let me have another day. I'm very humble at the end of the day. We all have a shelf life. I may look younger than I am, chronologically. Maybe I am, I don't know, maybe I'm not. But inside, you know, old Father Time. I don't know, pardon me for eating out of the pot. If you don't like it, turn it off. Go listen to someone else. I don't give a I actually don't care what you do. I mean, as long as you like me, that's all I care about. It's nice, the mixture. The pasta, the vegetables, the prawns, the vino. Oh my God. I'm sure they'll outlaw alcohol in our lifetime, like the Volkswagen Act. Again. Oh yeah. Make sure you're on a medical drug, like so Anthony Fauci can come back from hell again. Look, I knew who that was in the 80s. I try to warn Trump, no one listened to me. Fauci was the chief peddler of AZT. a failed cancer drug, and he pushed it for AIDS. I said, oh, this guy's bad. He's a pimp, in my opinion. A rat, a bum, a criminal. Belongs in prison. Well, what do we have? We have representation. We have representation like Mike Tuchus has representation. When Mike Johnson came along, Mr. Peepers, I said, oh, well, we have some hope. He looks like a nice, quiet, Midwestern guy. Even this from the Deep South. I don't know how that worked out. It looked like a weirdo Mr. Peepers guy. All of a sudden, we wake up, he's pushing weapons for Ukraine, another $100 billion for Zelensky. Can you believe this? World War III. Not one of these have ever talked about peace. Not one of these scumbags have ever talked about peace. Not one of these scumbags have said to Zelensky, stop this. We got to have peace with Russia. We risk World War III, you idiot, you. And push him off the stage. Push him back with his twisted schmendrick back where he came from, nowhere. How many times do I have to tell you about Zelensky? He was like a Benny Hill of Ukraine. Everyone loved him because he was wild and crazy. Played the piano with his prick, his penis, his schmeck. I never looked at it. I'm not that interested. I don't know if he was on key or off key, but he played the piano with his schmeck. And everyone loved him in Ukraine. And since it's the most corrupt country on earth, he figured he'd run for office, or whoever was behind him ran him for office. They figured he's popular. It'd be like running Larry David for office in America for president. You like it al dente, or you like it al softy? Whatever. That food is great. I could modify it a little way. My friend Lorenzo, may he rest in peace, put olive oil on my spaghetti when I would eat that. I said, what the hell are you doing? He's long dead. Sad. Loved him. Loved that man. North Beach restaurant. I hear they're reopening it. I don't even know who the hell is though. I'm not going to go in there. But he put olive oil on my spaghetti. I said, Lorenzo, what are you doing? He says, oh, olive oil on you, whatever. Because I don't like this olive oil. Someone gave it to me for my birthday. It's not very good. The only olive oil I like is from Italy. It's an organic olive oil from Italy. Now this is some fake oil from California. Whoever gave it to me at my party, thank you for picking it out. I'm sure you didn't know any better, but it's not very good. It's very light, has no flavor, nothing. Okay, I'm about to close it down. Any idea how long I've been with you? These are good. Shrimp boats are a-coming, their sails are in sight. All right. So many songs that I grew up on. Friday Night with Mike. If you like, hit like. Friday Night with Mike. If you like, subscribe. Otherwise, you're going to miss it the next time again. That's enough for one night, isn't it? Really defrosted enough. That's the one thing is you got to make sure you have enough for the primary. You got to have it. Like in a restaurant, you're always hungry at the end. So you order like garbage at dessert. I never eat dessert in my life. After childhood, I never ate a dessert. People say, what's the secret to your being able to be so cogent at your age? Age is a number, except in Biden's case. It's not a number. He's way over the hill. Age is a number for most people. No. Age is a number for me. I've been a health food writer since the 70s. You look up the books under my family name, which morons think they can disgrace by naming it. They're the idiots in the schoolyard. It means nothing. So, I'm a man of the people. God put me here for a reason. This is the reason. It's for me to conclude tonight. I don't have any idea. How long have I been with you already? Jesus, this is a long show. I don't even know the title. Prawns with pasta. What the hell is it? Over a dead America. Prawns with pasta over a dying America. How's that? Is that a good title? Prawns with pasta over a dying America under Joe Biden. Everyone I know who has a high IQ sees the handwriting on the wall. And they say there's no fighting them other than through a civil war. They're going to come for our guns. If he wins again, the senile. And if the senile wins again by stealing the election, while Trump is in prison, I'll still vote for Trump. But here's the problem. Never forget this, boys and girls of the savage nation. We have a Second Amendment. Cambodia did not have a Second Amendment. Australia had no Second Amendment. England, those morons, had no Second Amendment, so they've been deballed. Scotland had no Second Amendment. Take a look at England and Scotland right now. Muslim leaders in both countries. Can you imagine electing a hateful Muslim in Scotland? The minute he wins, he says there were too many white people in Scotland. In the old days, they would have taken that, thrown him into the ocean. Well, there's no Mr. Wallace anymore. There's only Mel Gibson playing Mr. Wallace. I'm afraid there's only actors playing tough men and real men. There's plenty of real men left in this country. If it comes down to it, let's get it on. I say it's the only thing that could save us. It's the only thing to save us. It's got to be. Alavai, it's got to be. Alabi, Alabum, Alabam. This can't go on much longer. Everyone's at a breaking point. They see what this senile front man is doing to the country, while behind him is the shadowy puppet called Michelle Obama. I knew who Obama was when he came to power. I wrote many books about him. Well, I've gone way past the half a bottle mark, which is all I could have every night. I'm not Sterling Hayden on The Wanderer. I'm Michael Savage on The Frying Pan. So if you like what you hear tonight, hit the like button, subscribe, so I'll be back for you as long as God gives me the breath to do so, and as long as the government has not yet reached that point of Cambodia or, God forbid, communist China. I had a dream, I told you. I was on Don Jr.'s show last night, and I even said it. People were shocked. That's the one thing people heard. I'd had a dream the night before that the communist Chinese had taken over America, which they have done, by the way, by and large. They own almost all of our politicians. I'm sure Johnson's owned by them. There's no other explanation for what's going on. And in the dream, the Chinese were hunting me down. The actual Chinese communists were hunting me down. And I was hiding in some kind of tunnel. And I hid amongst Orthodox Jews. And then finally, one of the young Chinese communists found me. And when I was interrogated, he said to me, "I see that you know herbal medicine." I said, "Yes." They said, "Okay, we can use you. Good night, folks. Thanks for being with me. I appreciate it. Get ready for what's coming, because the flood is coming. The flood is coming. What this has done to this country is incomprehensible. What him and his cohorts have done to this country, you don't even know. Inside the plot to destroy America, a savage republic. I wrote it. It will be banned. If this wins again, my books will be burned by the students at Columbia. I'll call them Zionist books. you better go take care of yourself right now. And I will now stop the broadcast somehow. Truthfully, I have trouble with this app. It's different online than it is for me when I do this thing the other way. You know, I do it on the thing. It's beautiful the other way when I'm sitting in front of the computer.